Hi Sagittarius, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your September 2016 month ahead reading. We're still in the very early stage of September, so I'm a little bit late, but not too late, not far into the month. So if you'd like a private reading with me, Sagittarius, go to www.carolsuniverse.co.uk. It's an interesting reading for you guys for the month. We have, as your general energy, King of Wands in the upright, along with the King of Cups in the reverse. So we've got two kings. Usually when you get kings in readings, especially 2 or 3, it can indicate great success is coming to you. We've got 3 kings in this reading, but 1 is in the reverse. Or it can mean great success within business, that type of thing. I get the feeling this month that some of you guys are allowing a situation either to motivate you, or you're trying to forget something or someone potentially in your life. This is you guys in the general energy. So King of Wands would usually be a Leo. Sometimes it could be seen as an Aries, but usually a Leo. Sagittarius is usually Knight of Wands energy. But for the purposes of the reading, because you're fire sign Sagittarius, we're going to, obviously look at the King of Wands as being you guys. So I feel that in the month of September, a lot of you guys are going to be, when you get King of Wands, it's all about being really active and really energetic. Somebody who is very proactive, somebody who's very ambitious, very confident, very motivated. They're like the Queen of Wands, I guess. Queen of Wands is the King of Wands' natural counterpart. But with kings, they literally take the action on things. Usually represents a male figure, so it can be somebody male within your life. But I also feel more than anything is that this kind of represents potentially, if it's somebody in your life, Sagittarius, it could be a Leo type energy with a Leo type temperament, somebody who's quite fiery, somebody who Leo types can sometimes be quite self-absorbed as well, so they let their confidence kind of speak for them rather than kind of going inward, which is why I felt with the King of Cups being in the reverse, this represents, when you get King of Cups upright, it's a beautiful card because it represents somebody who's quite responsible, somebody who's very caring, somebody who is very intuitive. It has male and female energies to this card, someone who knows how to cope in a crisis emotionally, because they have reached an emotional level of security and maturity within their life. And it's in the downright. This one can be quite a moody character. They can be quite self-absorbed by their emotions. They can be quite overcome or overwhelmed by how they're feeling. Sometimes this type of individual can get so absorbed by their emotions, by situations around them, they don't really know how to handle it. So sometimes they can, kind of turn to things like drink. The King of Cups can turn to things like drink in the upright because he can be very enclosed as well as being an open character. But I like to think of the King of Cups, if he's not paired with something like the Devil, then the drink isn't really a problem. The drink is only something that they will do now and again, okay, just to kind of take the pain away a little bit. But when he's in the downright, or in the reverse, he's simply a character for me that really does become quite consumed by emotions, and it could be around a King of Wands energy. I feel if this is an external figure, this is someone who isn't giving you what you need, because if you look at these 2 cards together, even though you're not a King of Cups, Scorpio, Cancer usually is a King of Cups energy, it doesn't matter. What you've got to know about the tarot, Sagittarius, is that every single one of these cards can represent you, whether they're your suit or not, it doesn't matter. It's more the emotions and the feelings and the actions that people take that are represented by these cards, because they're archetypes of what we do in our everyday environment. So the King of Cups, if you look closely at these 2 cards, he's looking at the King of Wands, but upside down. Okay, so he's coming from a very kind of emotional, deep, I feel that he's saying this King of Cups is looking over at the King of Wands from a very deeply scarred emotional stance. It's looking at someone who's kind of, if this is somebody around you, then this person is kind of so self-involved in what they're doing, because King of Wands is often seen as an entrepreneur. He's somebody who's very well-travelled. He's also somebody who's very sexually driven. So this is someone who enjoys who enjoys doing what they want, because he's fire, so he rages. This is somebody who can also get quite frustrated. So you might find in the month of September, there might be, if this isn't you, the King of Wands, if this is an external individual and you are the King of Cups in the reverse, you might be looking over at this King of Wands from a stance of feeling quite emotionally hurt and emotionally bereft, maybe at the state of a relationship with a King of Wands type. It might be that somebody is ignoring you or has turned their back on you. I feel that this might be something to do with a particular relationship. And maybe you're not strong enough in the month of September to deal with it or to deal with this situation. I feel that if the King of Wands is your energy, and it should really be because you're Sagittarius, then this is you who is either ignoring another individual, or you're doing something within your life right now to overcome this energy of the King of Cups. So for me, it kind of suggested maybe you're putting all your actions into, other things. You're being really, really active, really busy with certain projects, certain things in your life, because you're maybe trying to overcome this, the King of Wands energy, the King of Cups energy in the reverse. Because when we're low, when we're depressed, and this card in the reverse for the King of Cups can often indicate somebody who's quite depressed. So I feel that there are things, it could be with the King of Wands, because Wands always, for me, along with Pentacles, kind of remind me of exercise and going to the gym and focusing on your health. It could be where you're trying to kind of come out of a time of feeling really kind of despair in a relationship or generally in your life. They're kings. So kings, remember, are the absolutes within the tarot, okay? They're the things that we do. They're the actions that we take. They're how things basically evolve and how they manifest outside into the outer world. That's what kings do, because kings are the actual action takers, but they do it from a very mature stance. This is the thing with a king. It will always take an action based on its level of maturity. So whereas, for example, if you had a Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands is also an action taker. It's the adventures that come in and go out of our lives. It's the actions that we take in life. It's the directions that we take. With the Knight of Wands, it can involve a home move, but in terms of an action that we take, we might be riding very swiftly or impulsively or hastily towards a particular direction, a goal, sometimes without really thinking about it, and really just surviving on how we feel passionately about a situation, how something fires us up. But with the King of Wands, because he's a king, there is some thought that goes behind it, I feel. There is the deep knowledge, the deep belief that the actions that we take or the things that we do in life are the right things to do, but we do it on from a foundation or a premise of that it makes us feel really, really good, because that's what the King of Wands feels. The King of Wands feels really, really good about himself. He really does. He's filled with such inspiration and such motivation to, face challenges that it's not even about really thinking about it like the King of Swords does. It's more like I feel so driven to do something. So I feel in the month of the September, in a way, it's a good reading. Yeah, I do. I feel it's a very good reading, because I feel that I'm getting a sense of you guys feeling really, really driven to overcome this King of Cups energy in the reverse. And if this is a particular person, this might be somebody who's actually draining you or trying to drain you of your individuality, who's trying to drain you of your drive, of your motivation, of your ambition. Because the King of Cups in the reverse, remember, he's overwhelmed by this sea of emotion. So the sea is toppling him. He's threatening to go under rather than sit afloat. He's threatening to let the waves overtake him. Okay, if you look at the waves here, when he's in the upright, the King of Cups manages to sit sturdily on a throne that, kind of controls those waves. So he keeps his head in a crisis. When it's in the reverse, the crisis kind of overtakes this individual. Okay, so I feel that there is the drive maybe either to move away from such a person who might be draining you, or it might be that you are trying to overcome some form of depression by being very, very driven. And that could be anything from getting your health in check, which we know that the Wands are often to do with doing lots of activities. So it could be going to the gym, it could be changing your eating patterns, it could be walking more. Usually the Wands represent to me more physical pursuits in terms of health. But, this is a business card as well, career. So, and I'm looking at the reading and I'm seeing that the reading involves, we do have pentacles showing up here. We also show wands, but we do see swords, those nasty sword cards, which kind of makes me feel that you're trying to overcome something by concentrating on something else. Your advice card is showing us the Ace of Wands for the month. And the Ace of Wands means to, you know, get excited, okay, to jump on new projects, to get excited about the future, because there is potential in new creative endeavours. It's where a light bulb goes on. You see this wand with a finger sticking up, it's a yes, basically. And whenever you have a wand, it's about creating magic, because wands are used by magicians. So this is why wands are often seen as the suit of creation and things that we're looking to create, expand on, build on, so that we can see the natural progression and evolvement of a situation. And sometimes the Ace of Wands is often to do with things like home moves, travel, obviously, because you have cards like the Knight of Wands, which rule the house of long distance travel. So sometimes there is the potential for a home move or for travel here. There is the perhaps a new beginning in terms of a career coming up for you guys in the month of September 2016. But I feel with the Ace of Wands, really what it's saying is that new ideas that you're wanting to work on, get passionate about them. And I also feel that if you're with the King of Wands energy, where you're being really active and really kind of quite positive about a forward direction that you're taking, Sagittarius, with the Ace of Wands, it's saying it's a good idea and you need to persevere and carry on with it, because this is what's going to see you through. The first two cards are interesting because it shows the Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups together, and usually when you get this, it's more about a happy family. The Six of Cups is to do with the past, but it's also to do with new relationships that we form, but it's also to do with sweet and tender relationships with that Six of Cups energy. And because you have the Ten of Cups, this is a happy couple with a family, okay? And they're looking at what they've, what they've created together. And there's a lot of happiness and abundance and contentment. So sometimes this card, the combination can mean love and marriage, or it can mean a happy family together. I feel, though, that because we have a Ten of Cups, tens for me often represent the endings of cycles. So it's where we're now ready to move on to the next stage within our lives. We've reached a point of completeness. The tens represent completion, remember, in the tarot. And the Six of Cups is the beginning of something here. So Six of Cups is a beginning of a relationship that I feel has reached a state of completion with that Ten of Cups energy. But what's interesting is that we have a Three of Swords happening here. So I feel for some of you guys, when I look at those three cards so far together, it's not such a happy family situation, because we've got a nasty sword card. And if, you know, major cards like Death and the Tower, they're stronger usually than cards like the Three of Swords, because majors are majors, they're trump cards. They talk about the bigger secrets, the bigger effects, the bigger things of life, the things that have the most enduring capacity to kind of outlive us, to live lifelong with us. So you get something like a death. Somebody dies in the family. Not all the, obviously the death card doesn't always represent a physical death, but it can represent a major transformation that happens. And when you get the death card, sometimes this can mean that, you know, it's the effects of that transformation that live with you your whole life through. So death can represent a home move, for example. If a client came to me and said, I'm going to move home, and I had the death card, I'd know there'd be a major turnaround, a major transformation. Same as Tower, same as Wheel of Fortune. All of those major cards have the capacity to have a huge change within our lives. But also cards, pit cards. Pit cards are the lesser secrets. They're the smaller things, the everyday things that we deal with. Okay, now with the Three of Swords, for me, this is cards for me is kind of like a lesser major. I call it my lesser major, because there are certain pit cards that still have the capacity to live lifelong with you. You get the Three of Swords, it can mean heartbreak, it can mean separation in a relationship. Okay, real separation within a relationship. But also it can mean just a time where you and your partner are separated. So, you know, potentially it might just simply be a case of that you guys are pursuing something to do with your careers, and maybe this involves having to travel away from your loved ones and having to have a time, because we do have an Eight of Wands here, which can also mean flight September 2016. When you get an Eight of Wands, it can mean air travel. And with that Three of Swords, it can mean that there's a separation due to some form of air travel, maybe with the Eight of Wands. So, and we also have the Ten of Cups, and the Ten of Cups can often mean I'm saying goodbye to something, or I'm saying goodbye to the home or the house. All right, so, and with this Six of Cups, we do see, I mean, these are two very feel-good cards together, so it might not be as tragic or as harsh a reading as you might be thinking it is. It might simply mean that in the month of September, for some of you guys, there's going to be a separation from loved ones, okay? Maybe this is causing some heartbreak because there is going to be long-distance travel with that Eight of Wands card, okay? We also have a Queen of Pentacles. Now, Queen of Pentacles is often a female who's very responsible with finances. So she's someone who is very kind, very nurturing, but she's also looking at her career. Often when I get this lady in readings, this is somebody who's focusing on in her career, and she's focusing on her own value and her own potential in life and what she holds most dear to her. Pentacles aren't always about money, they're also about earthly pleasures and the things that we do on earth to kind of help ourselves evolve and grow as individuals. We also have underneath of that the Eight of Pentacles. So for some of you guys, it could be that you are entering some form of new phase of study. Maybe you're going away to college to study, which the Eight of Pentacles can reference to. Maybe you're going on a training scheme, because the Eight of Pentacles can mean things like workshops, seminars, that type of thing. We also, remember, have the Eight of Wands, which can be a travel card, long distance travel. So maybe you're traveling to another city or another state for a little bit, just to kind of you know, go and study for a particular thing or a new job or something like that. But I also feel that, you know, it's funny because we have a Two of Swords that shows up next door to it. And I feel that this card is really saying, when you get a Two of Swords, for me it's kind of like a stealthy card, Sagittarius, because really what it says is you're going to need to be strong. It means having to block out how you feel. Because with the swords, you're focusing on the logic. So sometimes when you have the Two of Swords that is crossing you, it means block out. So this can also mean that there'll be no contact. So for some, of course, we all have mobiles these days and we can get in contact with people. But with the water in the background, sometimes this means having to block out the emotional connection. Because I feel that you guys are persevering and concentrating on your careers, or concentrating on something that has a very much tangible value. When you get an Eight of Pentacles, it means that you're working towards a goal. So maybe with the Two of Swords, you're going to have to kind of be strong and block out. And maybe this is you, or maybe this is somebody around you, this King of Cups, who's finding it difficult and overwhelming to maybe be away from you. Because remember, we see with the King of Wands, this is somebody who travels. So this person can travel worldwide. Okay, this person is, the King of Wands is renowned for travelling. Of all of the kings, he's the one that does the most travelling within the tarot. So I feel for some of you guys, there could be travel. There might be somebody around you who's really upset that you're going away. Or it could be vice versa, and they're having to try and control. It might be somebody who's very dependent on you as well, I feel, with this King of Cups in the reverse. Because the King of Cups in the reverse shows a little bit of weakness emotionally. So it shows somebody who is not emotionally or in an emotionally strong place inside of their head. So maybe that's why we have the Two of Swords, that you're finding it difficult, or you're having to, it might be that you're in two minds over this thing that may be occurring in the month of September because of this person that needs your support or needs you to be around. Because I'm seeing the King of Wands as being as being the strongest of the two kings, only because when you get King of Cups in the upright, he's just as strong as the King of Wands, but he's strong in a different way because cups are emotionally based. Okay, so he's strong in a way in terms of his intuition, in terms of how he deals with people on a very, what's the word that we call it? In how he interrelates with people, whereas the King of Wands is far more of a brash energy, but he's still a kind individual, but he just deals with things in a far more kind of different way. Okay, he's more career-centered. He's more, I wouldn't say practical, but he's all about getting on with the job, just getting on with it, just doing it. Whereas the King of Cups is the type of person who would take his time to talk to someone, who would take his time to understand what somebody is going through, which is why he always makes a good nurse or a good doctor or a good health worker or a good psychologist, that type of thing, because he is Cups. When he's in the reverse, this is somebody who is not good with those things. This is somebody who's finding it difficult to deal with something very, very emotional, which is why I feel that of the two of these kings, obviously the King of Wands shows more strength. So I feel that you could be dealing maybe with someone who's finding it difficult to deal with your success or where you're maybe going in the month of September. And I feel that this could be causing a little bit of friction or catastrophe maybe in a relationship, potentially. But I feel that you do have your eye on the prize of your career, potentially, with this Queen of Pentacles energy. Therefore, you seem to be working hard. And for some of you guys, you are travelling. Maybe attending seminars, workshops, this, that and the other. It could be causing some arguments within the relationship because we do have that Three of Swords energy. But it seems that you are working towards something, working maybe towards a new project, because we do have finally that King of Swords energy that shows there. And when you get a King of Swords, it's about somebody who is endeavouring or taking on new projects. Okay, so they are initiating new things. All right, now King of Swords, swords are to do with ideas, and they are to do with logic. So this is something that you do. If we've got somebody who's in who's in two minds here, then it says that they've made their mind up. They've made a very logical and rational decision with the King of Swords energy. And it's based on not the heart, not the feeling, not the... So if there is somebody around you in the month of September that you feel might be holding you back a little bit because they might be a little bit too clingy. King of Cups for me can be a very clingy character because he looks at the King of Wands from the upside down. So it means to me that he's not looking upright at the King of Wands. You know, he doesn't emotionally understand why this individual has this thing to do. He's looking in the reverse. So he's looking from a perspective of feeling really quite down or depressed. If you can see this, the King of Cups is literally looking in the reverse up at the King of Wands. So this to me tells me that he's looking at the situation not in his right mind, perhaps because he's depressed. So there might be somebody that you are having to, or you are feeling a sense of responsibility for in the month of September 2016. But, you know, it just says to me that, you know, you've got to do what you've got to do, Sagittarius, in the month of September 2016, okay? For some of you guys, it could be a relationship where there is a third party, because Three of Swords can often represent a third party. So whilst you might be relatively happy in a relationship here, with that Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups, it could say, well, maybe with the Three of Swords, you have a very important decision to make, because remember, Three of Swords can also mean head and heart decisions that one needs to make. The head says yes or no, and the heart says yes or no. So dependent on what perspective you're coming from, Sagittarius, it could be where your head says yes, but your heart is saying no. Maybe because you feel responsible for this King of Cups in the reverse. However, you're looking at your own self-worth. I often look at the Queen of Pentacles when she's in the upright and she looks at her own self-worth. Remember, the Pentacles mean worth because they're worth something. They're tangible. They're worth something. So when you look at for me, when I look at a King of Pentacles, the Pentacle is everything that she has. Everything that she has, and it represents everything that she has. The home, the children, the husband, the this, the that, the other. She's looking at the value. But, you know, the fact of the matter is we have a Two of Swords sitting right next to her, which says to me she might be looking at the value of what she has, the tangible things that she has right now, but she seems to be in two minds over it. Maybe it's because there's a King of Swords energy around. Okay, so the King of Swords, if this King of Cups is in the reverse, this suggests a person who is of emotional weakness. Maybe this person has a few demons or few things that this person needs to deal with. King of Wands has his back to that King of Cups in the reverse, which means it wants a little bit of freedom. It has things to do. It's going to persevere. It's going to persevere with its motivations, with its ambition in life, with where it wants to go. It can also, for me, suggest that maybe the King of Wands, because we know the King of Wands is prone to anger and irritation. So for some of you guys, it might be that you're irritated by this King of Cups in the reverse. Maybe they're draining you of something, and maybe you're looking at somebody who is far more astute and far more kind of practical. And, you know, we know that Wands and Swords complement because they're fire and air. Okay, fire and air generally mix because air drives fire. So air influences fire, it gives fire its backbone, it helps it to move further. So for some of you guys, you might be looking at somebody who can help you progress you further in life. Whereas the King of Cups, generally, if you pour water on fire, it dampens it. So which is why I'm feeling that potentially it could be a relationship, whatever this is, you know, whether it's family member, whether it's a love relationship, whatever this situation is, I feel that this person, the King of Cups, is draining you, because water and fire for me don't mix. Okay, fire cannot, unless it's got petroleum in the water or some sort of agent that can make fire even greater. If it's just plain water, which cups are, if you put fire into water, it cannot grow. Water feeds earth because it helps things to grow from the earth. For me, water does not feed fire, because whichever way you want to look at it, you try and put fire into water, it's going to go out. You put water onto fire, it's probably going to go out. Okay, so these two energies here in the upright are not working together. However, the King of Swords does work, because the King of Swords will drive the King of Wands even further, because the King of Swords is air. And when you get air, if you get fire and then you get air, what happens? You get wind, it pulls it even further. It doesn't dampen it, it just enrages it even more. Okay, so I see this potentially, if this is a situation about a third party, this person I feel that you'd be looking at more than the water sign person in your life. It might be that you're drained with a particular relationship. Somebody's drained you off your energy, i.e. this King of Cups in the reverse. Whereas the King of Swords is probably somebody that you could get along with far more. And you might be in two minds with that Queen of Pentacles, because we're looking at the energy of what you're looking at. With the King of Pentacles, you're looking at what you have, what you've built, maybe within this relationship here. And maybe your heart is saying, okay, I've built something that's worthy, that's good to a certain point, but your head is saying, but I want more. It can't carry on like this. And with this Eight of Wands, that might inspire you to move forward. Or it could mean that there's so many things that are going on up in the air. However, we're grounded with that Eight of Wands because we have an Eight of Pentacles, 2 eights. When you get eights in a reading, they're about focus and determination. So I feel with the Eight of Wands, you are determined to ground this energy here and work towards maybe this King of Swords energy. Okay, for some of you guys, it will be that if there are arguments or, you know, there's some form of irritation within a relationship, which I feel it could be in the month of September. I feel that what is up in the air around this Three of Swords energy will be grounded with the Eight of Pentacles. You'll get it together and you'll decide, you know what, actually, I am going to work towards something. And it could either be that you work towards becoming far more successful with the King of Swords energy, so initiating new goals, new practices, new ways of being based on your logic and the evidence that you see, so therefore the swords win over the heart. If it's another person, then I feel that you want to work towards something, developing something with this individual here. You may have been in two minds, which is why everything is up in the air, because there seems to be some disrepute within a relationship. But finally you find your feet and work towards either becoming far more driven, far more successful with the King of Swords energy, or it could be that you're working towards developing something with this individual. Some of you guys also might be looking at maybe changing some form of career here too, I feel. Just the fact that King of Swords can actually relate to maybe law, that type of thing. And we do see a card where Eight of Pentacles, somebody's working towards something here. So some of you might be literally working towards a career that would go along with the King of Swords, something potentially legally. Okay, it might be that you look to change from working in finance to law. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, she can be a financier. She might be in two minds over her career, but then decides that maybe she wants to work towards a career in law. And maybe this is where the disrepute is with the Three of Swords, head and heart decisions over what direction to take. Because you might feel a love or an affinity with a particular area within your career, but your head might say, well, maybe I should go with this particular course of action. King of Wands, King of Cups in the reverse. You're either overcoming some form of difficulty emotionally wise, or I feel that you're kind of moving out of a relationship with someone who could have been a little bit of an energy or an emotional vampire. Very interesting reading, but the advice card is Sagittarius for the month of September 2016, that you need to pursue new avenues, okay? Because you're on the right track. You really, really are. You're on the right track to turning major ideas into major reality. So you need to keep on going with that. Let's have a look at the advice from the angels for the month of September for Sagittarius. Universe, Spirit, show me. What is the advice that you have for Sagittarius in the month of September 2016? Angels, show me. What is the advice that you have for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius for September 2016? Show me. What is the advice? Show me the advice you have for Sagittarius in the month of September 2016. Show me. There's something better. Okay, let's read what that says. How interesting is that? Let's get the... Heaven has something wonderful in mind for you. However, it's not the same thing you have planned, which is why we're getting the Two of Swords, I feel, here. And working on something new, potentially. Ask yourself what you would rather have. How interesting. The very thing you're asking for, or something that would make you much happier and more fulfilled. Sometimes God has joys in store for us that we could never imagine on our own. Open your mind and heart to the possibility that you deserve even more than what you're asking for, which is exactly what I said. I felt that there was something else that you will go walking towards, which is why the King of Wands turns its back to that King of Cups in the reverse. Trust your angels to guide you in new and exciting directions. How interesting. There we go. There's your new direction. Pursue it, because it has real potential. That is your reading, Sagittarius, for the month of September 2016. I would like to say thank you very, very much for joining me at Carol's Universe, and I will speak to you guys really soon. Take care.